On Monday, we celebrated 10 years of Berlin process in Berlin, but also in and for the region. Chancellor Scholz spoke of a Berlin spirit on Monday, a driving force behind this process that was initiated by former Chancellor Merkel in 2014. These 10 years have been a testament to Germany's engagement in Kosovo and the Western Balkans in general. What might sound technical, creating a common regional market, affects the life of people, business, students every day. Because of the Berlin process, roaming fees of your mobile phones are less. Because of the Berlin process, there's a regional climate partnership with Germany worth more than 1.5 billion euros. Because of the Berlin process, you can travel with ID cards in the region. And allow me to also laud again Prime Minister Kurti's decision last week that Kosovo unilaterally recognizes ID cards from Bosnia and Herzegovina as of 1st of January. I think that's a powerful gesture of goodwill and generosity. Our panel today will discuss in greater detail 10 years of the Berlin process, the achievements, opportunities, missed chances, and the way forward. So allow me to mention only one more significant achievement. Together with Kosovo, together with all stakeholders and parties, we have managed to deblock CEFTA after several years of standstill. I would like to personally thank also Jeton Zulfay, who is here today, for having navigated this on the Kosovan side.
It is a great achievement, the 10th anniversary of the Berlin process. As you recall, it started in 2014, and I think this is also what the Prime Minister mentioned in his address in the 10th anniversary, that it started in 2014, right after former President Juncker said that we need to take a pause from enlargement, and the DG NIR was shut down, giving a bad signal to the region. But also months after Russian Federation had annexed Crimea. So Berlin process was born out of this geopolitical circumstance to give hope to the region and to keep the enlargement alive. So, and since then it has been the driving force for the region to get connected with each other, to stay connected and get more integrated, and to be connected with the EU. So EU integration, so regional cooperation and economic integration as well, but also linkage with enlargement, because this is very important that the region has this perspective of becoming all members of the EU. And now that 10 years later, the enlargement is back on the agenda and all the Western Balkan countries now are back, the Berlin process has had this significant role of keeping this alive. So that is the first part, that it is very important that we have had this process and we celebrate. And Kosovo has been a key supporter, I must say. We have been very active and proactive because, as the figures shows, it is in the interest of Kosovo. And of course, its greatest achievement has been, besides the connectivity agenda, it has been the common regional market, which we mentioned. But in itself, it should be more about what we do with it rather than how we have come to endorse the common regional market. As you recall, when in 2021, knowing the sort of difficulties we have in CEFTA, which is the agreement for trade and key one, we had come up with an idea how to create an alternative which would not diminish CEFTA, but would enable to bypass these problems that we already had. And I think looking back, now we have the EU growth plan, which takes some of elements, I think, of what we have proposed in the sense that it gives early access to the single market by making sure that the region is removing barriers within and then getting access to the European Union. which is more or less, I think, in the model of EFTA countries, the relationship they have, but this will take time, and we need mechanisms to ensure that things will work as what we agree. Unfortunately, we have not had that much success due to political barriers, I must say, and that is what we have been trying to navigate in solving them. And the Berlin process has been the mechanism to help us do that. So it's not just in Brussels, we have pretty much a straightforward dialogue between Kosovo and Serbia, facilitated by the European Union. But in Berlin process, we are Western Balkan 6, and there I think the approach is that we see what is in the interest of the region, and with equality at the center and citizens as end beneficiaries. That is the approach that we have, and of course Germany has played a key role in keeping this alive and pushing this forward. So I think in navigating the political issues that we have, that is, we still have work to do, but I think it's a great achievement that now, after years, 16 years of independence, we are now directly represented in CEFTA, and we can shape the policies and the outcomes and take advantage of what CEFTA offers, like the new protocol which we have on dispute settlement, which as soon as it is ratified, it will be able to address every barrier, tariff or non-tariff, or violation of the agreement in CEFTA through that dispute settlement mechanism. And I think that's great. So I'll leave it here and then come back.
I think that's...
Well, in what the politics and the governments should do is to create a better environment in terms of regulation internally and in terms of agreements with neighboring countries and organizations, so that to extend opportunities. And then what the businesses should do is that they should be innovative, creative, competitive, and that's their part, what the economy should do. So that is why it is important that what we have engaged in is to bring new agreements that would expand these opportunities. When you look the 5 agreements which we already have signed, what they do is that they extend this mobility, so that, take for example the tech sector, which we export services. We could attract more people to come to Kosovo from the region that could work in the expanding sector. And if they are not all in Kosovo, but they are in the region, we can have companies that expand and bring people here. And that can happen also with other areas. But the downfall is that, yes, these political issues, they're making implementation hard. And it is not always easy, because it is a legacy of the past, which is inherited, and we are trying to navigate to do the utmost, but by keeping equality at the center. And I'm hopeful that we will navigate these issues which we have with recognition of diplomas, because if you are a professional and we have recognition of professions, mutual recognition, then you need your diploma to be recognized first. So if you're going to Sarajevo or Podgorica or Skopje or Tirana or Belgrade, and you are exercising a profession which has been regulated by the agreement, and the requirements are the same as in your country, that means that those documents should be recognized fully. And
yeah, when it comes to
business relations with Germany, for us it's easy to say that we had improvement. It is not only visible through the data that Felix shared, but also through all the statistics that we have. And part of this is not only the Berlin process. It would not be correct to say that it is a direct impact from the process, but we have a huge diaspora there, and traditionally Germany has been the biggest foreign direct investor in Kosovo. We had an increase in trade as well during the past years, but there are different kind of elements that have played a crucial role here, namely all these supply chain difficulties that German and European companies had during COVID, during all these geopolitical changes now. But however, there are some other parts and mechanisms of the Berlin process that are not being discussed on panels like this. And I would like to focus on these very practical initiatives that were taken through the German government to increase trade and investments in the region. And I'm talking here about the Western Balkans Purchasing Initiative. It is also a small baby of the Berlin process. It's being organized by a partner of ours, the German Federal Association for Supply Chain Management and Logistics. And the idea by this, it started also 10 years ago, was to make German buyers aware that there's a huge potential in finding suppliers in the Western Balkan regions. And we're talking about 2014, so it was prior to COVID and all these supply chain diversification problems that they had. So since then, until now, Western Balkan countries have really benefited from this, because there were over 1,000 B2B meetings that were organized to make German buyers aware that they should not only source in Asia, but that they have a potential to source in the Western Balkans. So, and this resulted not only in increase of exports from our countries, but also in joint ventures, but also in potential investments that we see coming. What I would like to emphasize...
This year marks the 10th anniversary of the Berlin process, and we at the German economic team, we used this occasion to take a look back on what the Berlin process has achieved over these last 10 years. Specifically, we investigated how much progress was made in achieving core objectives of the Berlin process since it began a decade ago. So how did we do this? First, we identified 5 core objectives of the process that can be evaluated quantitatively. These 5 objectives are promoting economic growth, decarbonizing the economy, fostering trade integration within the region and with the EU, promoting convergence of policy environments to EU standards, and promoting the inflow of foreign direct investment into the region. To assess progress towards these goals, we identified a suitable indicator for each of these goals and compared its level 10 years ago to the level today. To be specific, to the level in 2023, where our data is available. Specifically, we therefore look at the GDP growth, the carbon intensity, the structure of merchandise trade, the policy alignment with EU standards, and FDI inflows as well as FDI stocks. We do this for the region as a whole and also for each individual country. And today I'll be focusing on the region first to give a quick overview over the general success of the Berlin process, and then I'll be focusing on Kosovo in particular, because this is of interest here.